Okay, we'll call the Department of Public Works Committee meeting to order. First thing we need approval of the minutes of the prior committee meeting. Motion by Supervisor Merlino, second by Supervisor Frazier. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, we'll go into Parks and Rec.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First up, we have Justin Gagnon from Saratoga North Creek Railroad.
Morning, everybody. I apologize for my voice. I'll try to keep this brief. This past weekend, we did our first practice runs for Train to Christmastown. We had a friends and family run on Sunday. The show went very well, and we have our first revenue run this coming Friday after Thanksgiving. The Snow Train product plan has been developed and is being loaded into our ticketing system and will go up for sale soon, probably within 1 week. The last item that I have is at the the Board of Supervisors meeting in October, I had requested permission to build a 750-foot by 10-foot stone and asphalt platform at Stony Creek Ranch along the right-of-way. I have submitted plans to Warren County DPW today to change that to a wooden platform with the same dimensions. Same length, same width, same purpose, different materials. That's the only change.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to chime in, we did just receive the plans, and I would recommend that the committee authorize a wood platform and just make that contingent on approval of my office and a review and an issuance of a permit from County Code.
Someone like to move that? Supervisor Merlino, seconded by Supervisor Sokol. Any discussion?
How quick will you do the turnaround? Because it's getting close.
Yeah, I've talked with Justin about their immediate needs. They feel that they can have the event and use the existing platform at the ranch this weekend, and possibly next weekend if necessary, because the numbers kind of ramp up as you get into December. But our intent would be to review it quickly, but it is
so you'll move it up to your capital pile.
Exactly.
Okay.
But, and we did this morning when Justin stopped by my office with the drawing, which I have here if anyone wants to see. We scanned it and sent it right over to Charlie Wallace at Code so they could do a concurrent review. And our hope would be to reissue a permit, early next week.
Good. Thanks.
So that's our intent.
Thanks, Joe.
Should I go over and speak with Charlie after this meeting? Okay.
Yeah, I would recommend robust communication with Charlie.
Okay. Do that then.
Okay. Supervisor.
Did you make them tear it down? Because they already had one started.
They removed it because the platform that they were building, they didn't have plans for. So we had to stop the work until we could go through the proper approval process. So they did remove what they had built so far with the intention of they rebuild will be reflected in the plans. Slightly different, yeah.
Okay, is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
That's all I have this morning.
Thank you.
Next up, I have Marc Mateo from Adirondack Safari who wants to do a presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Hopefully everybody remembers me. I am here to review what we did with fairgrounds and also to tell you what we can and can't do.
Can you move that because you can't hear that? Yeah. Thanks.
How's that better? Okay, my apologies. So what we did is we did everything we promised that we'd do for you this year. What we did was invested $150,000 into the fairgrounds by bringing our campground there. We set up our 40 luxury tents as promised. We had nightly Native American performances. We did daily paint and sip classes, fully stocked camp store, river tubing, kayaking. We did all of this also with very professionally with 5-star service. I will mention we did get about 235 reviews on our Facebook page. 225 were 5-star, the balance were 4. So we did a really nice job. Our guests loved our experience. We did really well there. For the community, we actually employed several local residents. We drove thousands of tours to the Warrensburg area, without a doubt. We created hundreds of thousands of dollars of economic growth for the county. We took a very underutilized county-owned property, turned it into a 26-acre cash register, to be quite honest with you. In particular, we had a great economic benefit for both Warrensburg and Lake George. What I'd like to do now is show you a quick video that kind of recaps the season. We can go ahead and play that. You'll get a much better feel of who we are and what we do. As you can see, we put on quite a show over there this year. We took a very underutilized parcel from the county, created a very, very unique experience. We drew tourists in from throughout the Northeast. I will tell you that about 27% of the people that visited with us or stayed with us, they stayed for approximately 2.1 nights. In addition to that, I can also tell you that 27% of them have never even been to the region. So not only do we bring people in, we brought people that have never even been to Lake George region, and more particularly to Warren County, and also to Warrensburg. We think we did a great job. We worked hard. With that said, we lost a lot of money. It takes time to build businesses, and we all know that. We came in as an experiment this first year. We gave it everything we had. We literally worked 120 hours a week. We were awake, we were working. That's everybody. We're proud of what we've done. We'd like to move forward. But the only way this works for us is if we had a long-term deal, folks. Going forward, we think it's going to take another 2 years to get to profitability. We have something powerful. We have something that'll keep new tourists coming in every year. We have something that'll build every year, but we need time to do that and make that happen. We believe that within 2 years we can get to profitability, and going forward we'll have an opportunity to recoup our expenses and our losses and actually start to make some money. With that said, what we can do for you today is offer the county a 5-year deal worth a guaranteed $100,000 in rents. In addition to that, we can probably drive millions of dollars of economic benefit to the county. We know that there's been chatter about an RFP process that's going to be required. I will be quite honest with you, we would not be interested in applying for the RFP process if the length of term was less than 5 years. It's just simply too risky of a business, and there's just too much financial risk to myself and my family. We're not millionaires. We mortgaged our house to make this happen. We put ourselves in a position where we can be there long term, and where we can reach profitability, where we can continue our success. With that said, I'd like to ask the committee if they would be open to a 5-year proposal, where we would offer a 5-year rent deal and continue what we're doing, or if they'd like to pursue the RFP process.
Discussion? Supervisor Sokol?
Make a motion, but I also have a comment.
Oh, okay.
Are we moving this?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I thought you had a question there.
I just, I'm compassionate to this because I just went through this 6 years ago. Startup businesses are not easy. Mine was extremely difficult because it was the restaurant business. But it did take me about 4 years to get to the black. So I am sympathetic. I do understand where he is coming from. I did visit the site this summer. I went to the Countryside Annual Picnic and stopped over there afterwards, and what a nice facility they did. I mean, the tents were just beautiful. I mean, you did a great job, Vic. You really did. If none of you did get a chance to get over there, it was pretty impressive. And I didn't obviously see the nighttime activity, but I think moving forward, he can do exactly what he says. He can bring some monies into Warren County, and also utilize an area that we generally don't use.
Supervisor Frazier?
I would just like to hear from Kevin, considering it was his town, what kind of an impact that he felt it had on Warren.
I think it was actually excellent for the community. We only had one issue with noise, and that was because we were going past a certain time, and Mark and I and one of the neighbors who lives in the town of Bolton, lives just across the river, and we worked on that. But other than that, it brought a lot of people in, and I think we had more visitors to our community this summer than we have had in the past. And I think it went out, there's always a few kinks we're working out, but as as you get used to running it, it would go better. I mean, I'm good for anything that improves the county's balance sheet and our balance sheet, and I guess I got to rely on Matt to say, it takes time to work this up. And I would ask Mr. Mateo, do you have any commitments for people who want to come back next year or asking about it? Or?
I would probably say 90% said they're not only coming back, but they're bringing the whole neighborhood. They're really, now don't get me wrong, the prior year they said that also. Everyone's excited when they're there. It's the first time you're at Disney World. But I will tell you, we have an extremely loyal following. We sit and work with each and every guest and spend lots of time with them. So we build relationships with each and every guest, and our following is loyal. We've been doing this 3 years now, and this year we had guests that not only returned for a second visit, but also for third visits, bringing back more and more and more people, different people, because they were so excited to share it with their friends, family, and whoever else it might be. Don't worry about the future. The future is there. What we need to worry about is the time and the economic deal. A 2-year deal just simply is too risky for us to know that we might lose another $40,000 next year, $20,000 the following year, and then lose the property. It just doesn't make sense. There's too many opportunities on the table to go that route. So what we need to do is we need to come to you and ask you for a 5-year deal, a chance for us to actually become profitable, a chance for us to guarantee you $100,000 in rents on the property, a chance to give you a vendor that you know exactly what you're getting. We went through our test phase. We ran a class act. Not one police officer at that property, not one problem. I think overall, we did have some challenges, there's no doubt. We're on a main road. We have local kids coming through at 2 in the morning and beeping their horns and waking all our guests up just to have fun. I could go on and on about the challenges, but we can overcome all those challenges. We can build something big, and we can build something that'll be in the next 20 years and make all of us a lot of money. But we need time, and that's the bottom line today.
President Merlino?
I think it was a great thing. I went up to visit it too.
Thank you, Chief.
Walked around and stuff.
Appreciate it.
We talked earlier last year about
We sure did.
moving together, but this was a better thing. And it takes a couple of years to grow a business, and I would be all for give them the 5-year contract, because put it out for RFP, somebody come in cheaper, stuff. You know what you're going to get now, and I think we should move on.
President McDonald?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I also agree. I think this warrants strong consideration for a 5-year contract. What's unique about your business model is that it's a draw. People will come to the area specifically to do this, as opposed to coming on vacation, stay in a hotel or something like that. This is the draw in itself, and it's very unique. It's a new mode of lodging, camping, vacationing. I think it's just an overall net positive, and I think that it also would speak volumes as Warren County being very friendly to businesses wanting to get something off the ground. So,
Thank you.
I want to say, hold on a second, Doug. We had a previous discussions, with the previous county attorney, that anything longer than 1-year deal could create a problem with exclusivity and not having an RFP out there. Do you have an opinion on this?
I think Julie might be able to speak to that better, possibly.
I had a feeling.
No,
it was-
no, it's not. I can certainly research it. That wasn't brought to my
Okay.
attention before this.
I think as I recall, the discussion was this year's agreement was under a license agreement, which, yes, it was not a lease. And there's certain municipal law that gets engaged when you're talking about a land lease. So one of the things to consider, and I understand the concerns with, doing an RFP that's simply about the bottom dollar, and then, we get some new business that maybe doesn't have as good a plan, but they they give more in lease arrangements. I think an RFP could go to a best value or be more. So I think it could be tailored to get the best experience, and that could be part of the RFP and not just bottom dollar if that's the concern. But I know, to be fair to Mary, I think she would need some time to review Brian's prior opinions in what he was referring to, because this was discussed in committee. I just wouldn't want to get down a road where we can't continue legally.
Supervisor Beatty?
Yeah, that was, you just said, Jeff, what I'm concerned about. I think it's got a vibrant business plan here, but from a legality standpoint, you got to respect that. We can't put ourselves in a position where we're not following the law, and an RFP may be required. There may not be any way around it. Now, that being said, there could be an RFP that I believe that it's saying a 5-year lease position and so forth. So that could still fit within your realm of your end goal. I don't see other people trying to come in. I don't know the business that well, but I don't see other people trying to come in and one up you. You've established yourself, I believe, as the go-to. And if somebody'd be crazy to try to come in and say, hey, I can do better. But with that being said, I hope you're successful. I'd love to be successful. I just want to make sure, from a legal standpoint, we're following the law from an RFP standpoint, if that's what we have to do.
I respect the laws. I get it. I understand that, if it's something that's mandatory, it's mandatory. You have to do it. We have to follow the rules. But what I do ask is, if we are going to go the RFP process, that it has to be a minimum of 5 years. That's my only request. We'd be willing to bid on that.
That's reasonable. That's very reasonable.
Anything shorter, it's just too risky for us, unfortunately.
Very reasonable. Thank you, Dave. Supervisor Frazier, did you have?
That was just a question. The bike group that uses it up there in June, how is that different? How do we deal with them that we don't go out for an RFP and say, what other motorcycle group? You know what I'm saying? What's the difference?
Yeah, no, those are short-term permits,
Okay.
a license agreement, and that's what was enacted for Mr. Mateo as well.
Okay.
So it's under those same conditions, and we issue permits like that for all the events that occur there, and as well as Charles Harwood Park, and those are simple license agreements.
Thank you.
Supervisor McDonald?
You can make a motion to develop an RFP.
I think we need an opinion from our county attorney first, and then next month we can come back and have the answer. And
Well, can we give Ms. Mateo a time frame where we'll know what we're going to do? So
next committee meeting.
Next committee?
Yeah, that's what it is. Once we have an opinion, we can be ready next committee meeting.
We don't have committees.
We don't.
It has to be January.
January.
That works for me. I'm not in a rush. That's fine. We have backup plans if things fall through, so it's okay. Time is no problem. If you need time to do the research and so forth, just keep in mind that you will then have the RFP process, and then everything else. So again, we have to know before spring if we're coming or not.
Okay.
So as long as that fits your time frame.
We could, I'm not sure how long it would take for an opinion, but we had to do, because it's going to take some time to develop an RFP and to put it out there and get responses and award it. So maybe we could schedule a special meeting in December to do it. Is that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Everybody okay with that? Gene?
What you got is, and you know it, is unique. I've been researching it myself. It's a growing trend. Hope it lasts more than 5 years, because there's a lot of people in the county. And it's just, not that, you know where I own. I had a gentleman this August wanted to build tree houses in my 10 acres behind my area. And it sounded good. He was putting up the money, but pushing 74, and I actually turned it down because I'm tired. But up in Canada, it's the largest growing tourism attraction in Canada the last 2 years. And they can't build them fast enough.
We're at the very
something to
beginning
head
of a long curve here. It's just going to be the future of camping, and we bring a whole different demographic back into nature. We make it fun to go camping again. our age out there, and they enjoy it. They don't want to leave. So we're doing some things, unique things. We're doing it in a classy way. We've built tremendous relationships with Native American tribes who live on site with us and work individually with our guests and talk to them and lecture. And it's become a very rich cultural experience. It's become a great camping experience. It's just become a great opportunity to visit the area and see what it is that we offer here in the Lake George region. I'd also like to take just 1 second to recognize Mr. Benway and Mr. Garrity, who have gone above and beyond in every possible fashion in helping me to get to where we've been. Of course, I'd like to thank all the committee members for giving us the opportunity, but these two gentlemen have done everything they possibly can to handle any problems that have arisen, and I'd like to just commend them on that.
Supervisor-elect Loeb, thank you, Ed.
Chairman, a couple questions all as one. When you first set this up, you probably had market targeted, and I'm wondering how that fit. Again, these also where you're coming from.
You know, it's a new world out there in marketing. We don't do any print advertising, radio advertising, TV advertising. It's all social media now. So we had 25,000 followers on Facebook that just love what we do. They're from throughout the Northeast, and we market to those people and to new people on social media. When we market on social media, we actually choose our demographic, the interests of that demographic, the region that they live in. No matter where we advertise on Facebook, on Instagram, they come from there. So it's not limited to where I'm currently marketing. It's open to anywhere I'm willing to expand my marketing to. The experience is that unique that we're living in a new environment out there where people are looking for truly unique, authentic experiences. And to be able to sit with Native Americans and camp in a 5-star luxury tent, this is stuff that, it's their hot button. It gets people to take action. So I guess what I'm trying to say to sum it all up is our demographic is generally going to be a 30-year-old female that we target, 30 years to 48 years old female. But that is opening up to men also, because we've removed the word glamping and we've made it luxury tent camping. So now the men are also interested in this. The men are also interested in the fact that, well, now the wife will go camping with me. So again, it's an interesting element, but primarily our target market would be females, middle-aged, with families that are coming to experience what we have to offer.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anything further for Mr. Mateo? Thank you.
Okay, so what we do now is I just wait to hear from somebody regarding the...
Yes, we will.
Okay.
As soon as we get an opinion, we'll get in touch with you, and then we'll figure out how...
Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, next I have from Lake George Winter Carnival, Mr. Lutokas. They're looking at doing a use of the county fairgrounds February 10th and 11th for a snow cross. Myself, Mr. Tennyson, Lou, and Kurt Gagney, the owner of the snow cross, met, saw what they wanted to do, and he's here to answer any questions that you may have. But they're looking to rent the property for 2 days.
Sure, sure.
I've included in our package, he's got a set-up event, racer gates. There's on page 3 is his layout. Jeff and I walked through the whole layout. We don't see any issues other than noise, and they said that the noise levels are only supposed to range from 62 to 67 decibels. As far as facilities, they're going to have porta potties. It's going to run from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you have any questions, he can answer them better than I, but that's the gist of it. I've included their waiver, so we can work with the county attorney to come up with a waiver that benefits or covers the county, I should say. Their certificate of insurance.
On behalf of the Lake George Winter Carnival, we're extremely excited to bring this group back. As some of you might remember, 3 and 4 years ago, we had this group back at Charleswood Park. But unfortunately, since the improvements have been done at the park, that facility is no longer available. So there's been a few years we weren't able to take advantage of this association. That being said, when we did have them here, they were our, I want to call it our big box event. They filled all the beds up. The restaurants were full. It was a win-win for the Lake George Winter Carnival and the economy. As we all know, the carnival has struggled the last few years because Mother Nature hasn't cooperated with us with enough ice on the lake. That being said, we're shifting gears and trying to put more events off the lake so we're not dependent on Mother Nature as much. And with this group having interest coming back to the Winter Carnival and us obtaining the use of the fairgrounds, I think it's just a win-win for all parties involved.
I know that Mr. Tennyson has talked to Ed Corcoran, Edward Corcoran at the Countryside, which would be the closest affected people, and he was supportive of that.
Yeah, that was one of the, I guess, the biggest concerns initially was the proximity to Countryside and the noise. So Mr. Cochran said that if the races are during the daytime, he felt that the residents are up during that time frame, and in fact, some of them may want to go down and actually watch some of it. So when we met on site, Lou and Kurt, we kind of talked about that. They assured us that the sleds that race use stock exhausts. These are not modified exhausts. So they are modern stock exhausts on snowmobiles, are very quiet. And they also offered to provide an area for residents of Countryside to come down and sit and watch the races, or park their van close enough so that they could watch from inside a warm van if they so choose. So when I followed up again with Ed, he was going to talk to his staff to see if there was any concerns, but in the end, he didn't feel like it was going to be a detriment to his facility, and in fact, he thought it would be interesting for some of the residents to go down and watch.
Okay. Supervisor McDonald?
It sounds like a great idea. Just curious what it might require of county DPW.
Well, there's a few things that we talked about yesterday that, we'd have to provide, if we could, provide them some cones for the road.
Yeah, we'll
for traffic.
Sure, we can do
Slow him
that.
down there, and then I told him that if he needed, if Mother Nature wasn't cooperating, anything that we collect off our streets, we could stockpile up there for him to build his jumps, and I'm sure, because, we do snow removal on Route 9, and we do it on a lot of our side streets, so I told Lou that, we would discuss it as getting closer to the event. If he needed some extra snow, maybe we could find some if they couldn't make enough from on site there.
Also, just to clarify, the actual days of the event are February 10th and 11th, but they'll need access to the site approximately a week ahead of time.
About 5 days ahead of time, yes.
So, and one of the other concerns was access of water out of the river. So, I know Lou had indicated that DEC was issuing a permit so they could snorkel water out of the river to make snow.
We have a 30-day permit.
Yes.
So, we would have to consider our daily fee if we wanted to entertain this, which the normal rate is $200. Are you good?
Okay, so we're talking daily rate. Is that for the use of the fairgrounds? That includes their setup. So if we're there for a venue of 6 days,
And normally
including the setup.
Right, normally if you're occupying the site, then it would start on your setup days. So if it's 5 days of making snow and 2 days of the event, that'd be 7 total.
7 days, 1,400?
Yes.
That's what we've used as a current rate. For instance, Mr. Mateo was paying $200 a day for use of the site.
Okay.
So what is the pleasure of the board, the committee?
Yeah, make a motion? I would make that motion.
So is there any other incidentals on top of the 200 that we should?
They've indicated that you don't need power, correct?
Correct, no utilities.
We don't need power, no. I should say we. ECS, East Coast Snowcross, doesn't need power. They're totally self-contained. They have their own generators if need be.
Right. So there should be no other incidental costs from our standpoint.
Security policy, 1 day we usually require.
And the water is off, so we're not doing daily testing of the water or anything like that.
No manpower needed.
Okay. So the motion is going to be for 7 days for $1,400.
May I ask something before we vote on it?
Sure.
Are the restrooms available in the wintertime? I wasn't sure or not. They are not available?
No, they're
Okay,
shut
then.
down for the winter.
They are shut down. Okay, fine. Okay.
Way to keep them open.
Is the committee ready to vote or any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
We're all set?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Nice frame, Mr. Dunn.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next I have a resolution authorizing agreements with the towns of Thurman, Lake Luzerne, Hague, and Horicon for the support of snowmobile maintenance for the 2018 season. Sum of $90,000. It's an annual renewal.
This is the clubs, right?
Yes.
It's not the towns.
Oh, we sent it to the towns and they divvy it up to the clubs themselves, correct.
Someone like to bring this to the floor? Supervisor Frazier, second by Supervisor Merlino.
I just want to make sure it's okay, because we're getting the money.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too, because we're getting the money.
Oh, it's pass-through.
That's okay.
It's a pass.
It's a pass-through.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
The next resolution I have is Warren County and Town of Bolton agreement for $20,000 support for Up Yonder Farm 2018. It's also an annual renewal.
Someone like to bring this to the floor? Supervisor Frazier, second. I'll second that.
The next resolution...
Any discussion?
No.
Gotta vote first before you move. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
The next resolution I have is to amend the county budget. Mr. Mateo has paid the water bill that we received from the town of Warrensburg in the sum of $319.85. Spoke with Betsy Henkel. She wants to put it back in to pay for our budget that we actually paid up front.
Okay, would someone like to move this one? Supervisor Merlino, seconded by Supervisor McDonald. Any discussion? Call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Okay, the next thing I have for you is Up Yonder. It's a follow-up to the Up Yonder trunk or treat. I took a few photos and placed them on the table. It was the largest we've ever done in the history of the trunk or treat. I think we were in our third year. We had 584 guests. 68 of them were participants with 17 trunks all decorated. They do a fantastic job. And this is a 2-hour window and we had that many guests. Phenomenal. Great year. Weather was good, no rain. It wasn't too cold. It was a good event. Just wanted to share that with you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. With that, we'll move into solid waste.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Chairman. We do have some resolutions to advance, but I wanted to give Julie a chance to update the committee on some of the contractual changes that are coming for the next year.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go over the electronics the electronics recycling first. I handed out a cost comparison. Evolution did not come in low this time. It's a new company. The new company is Electronic Recyclers International. They are the largest recycler of electronic waste in the world. I spoke with our representative personally to make sure that he understood the terms of our contract. He was well aware. The change that you're going to see, or changes, you're only going to get revenue or rebates for computers and laptops, which under the current contract, you were getting revenue for everything but TVs. But they have reduced the expense part of it, which you were getting charged for TVs, from 15 cents down to 5 cents. So this table that I handed out shows you basically the estimated savings between our current contract and next year's contract. So even though they're shifting, the reduction in the expense part of it for your TVs is more than making up for the rebate part of it. Things will have to be packaged a little bit differently, and you'll have to let your transfer stations know that. But I can provide a copy of the proposal to everybody so that you can see exactly what the changes are. And on the tab sheet, which, do they have the tab sheet, Jeff?
Yes.
In your packet, there is the copy of the tab sheet, which shows the 5 cent revenue for the desktop computers and laptops, and then the 5 cent expense for assorted e-waste and all types of TVs. Any broken CRTs, that's being reduced down to 25 cents. I think it was 35 cents last time. Fluorescent lamps are going from $1.45 per pound down to 76 cents per pound. And then we also added just small scrap metal this year. Basically that was for the benefit of the county because we do like license plates. So they're charging 10 cents per pound for scrap metal. They have agreed to provide the packaging for everything. They said that we could either continue to do that or we could buy our own and they would reimburse us. You would just have to provide them with a copy of the receipt for those materials. I told them that we would like to keep it so that the vendor is providing the packaging. If anything changes, then I'll certainly let him know. But that's the way it's happening right now.
This is the packaging for the fluorescent lights, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Or is, okay.
Well, no, they're charging actually for the packaging for the fluorescent lights.
Okay.
But not many towns are partaking in that part of it. The packaging for, like the Gaylord boxes for the other stuff, is what they're going to provide.
Does it start January 1st?
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to vote on that one first, or before I go into the rest.
If I can get somebody to bring this to the floor. Supervisor Merlino, seconded by Supervisor McDonald. Any discussion? All those in
Question, what we talk about the rest of life, we're talking about the fixtures,
Right. I mean, they're considered hazardous waste, so they can't just be thrown in the trash, so we have to recycle those.
The bulb.
Yeah.
It's got mercury in it.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, carried.
And on the solid waste disposal and transportation contracts, the disposal is currently out to bid, and we're opening that one on the 28th. After we get all the facilities that bid on that, then we go out to bid with the transportation part of it, or the hauling, so that we can combine those two numbers to come to a low bid per transfer station. So I think we need a resolution, or did you do them separately?
Yes.
You can.
Yes, on page 4 is a simple request for new contract. That's for a contractor to be determined. As Julie mentioned, the bids are due next week. And then on page 5 is another request for a new contract for the hauling services under a separate bid. That'll be due December 14th. So because we're at the end of the year, we don't have another committee meeting scheduled, I'd like authorization to award those to the lowest responsible bidders.
Okay, can we do them both?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Someone like to move both? Supervisor Molino, do we have a second? Supervisor McDonald? Any discussion? Call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you. Okay, with that, we'll move right into our...
Could I ask just one thing on the times that you sent me? Our landfill is a slight change, but it's open at 8:15 instead of 8. And we are only open Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I wrote it down on here if you want this.
Nice.
In July, we're open on Sundays.
Okay.
Mine will be-
Yeah, this will be going into the follow-up bid that'll go out just around December 2nd.
Okay, with that, we'll move right into Public Works.
Okay, first item on the agenda is a request for a new contract for periodic surveying services. This is a bid that is out and due next week. I do want to mention that we've had a long-term contract with David Barris Surveying out of Corinth, and I just want to mention that David is actually retiring. That's why we're rebidding this, but he's been outstanding to work with. He's a Vietnam veteran and has held this contract for a long time and just been outstanding to work with. So we congratulate him on his retirement, and we're hoping to get somebody as qualified and as excellent to work with for follow-on contracts next year.
I'd like to bring this to the floor. Supervisor Frazier, seconded by Supervisor Molino. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
On page 2 is a request for a new contract. This is for crane services. We use these on primarily our bridge projects, but for various projects in the county. This is an annual contract. And one award to Roselle.
Someone like to move this one? Supervisor Frazier, seconded by Supervisor Molino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
On page...
On that bridge, can I ask you a question while you're on? Did you get any of the sections of the Tappan Zee Bridge?
No.
That wasn't any interest to you?
No.
I saw that in the paper yesterday.
No.
You're giving away metal.
We looked at them, but they're really not conducive to use for the types of bridges we have. Because of the nature of the construction, they are not easy to modify. You're pretty much stuck with the spans that they are, and
Looked like you had to have some pretty heavy abutments to set them on.
yeah, they're just not. I had a feeling that if we'd have taken them, they'd just sit in a yard somewhere and never get used. So we did review them. They're just not helpful to us.
How about the decking? Is there decking?
That's what these are.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
I
these
had
are
a call on
pre-stressed.
this this morning.
Yeah, these are pre-stressed panels. But for the spans of our bridges, they're not going to be that easy for people to really.
Aren't they 46 feet or something?
Yeah, but again, we reviewed them and didn't think that there were going to be more problems and probably increased costs rather than just sticking with.
But you have looked into it?
We did. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
On page 4 is a request to amend contract. This is with Peckham Road Corp. It relates to the Bay Road project. That was a federal aid project over near ACC. And this adjustment is just for final quantity adjustments. The value of those adjustments is a little over $16,000, the money is in the project for that. So this is essentially a change order for final quantity numbers in the project.
Who would like to make this motion? Frazier, seconded by Supervisor Molino.
These two are asleep.
I would have called. No, McDonald's got quite a few seconds there. Okay, we have...
Today doesn't mean I'm not with it, brother.
The eyes open, sleeping.
Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Okay, the next couple dozen resolution requests relate to end-of-year decreases for capital projects that are completed, and then we're going to be reallocating funds for local match into new projects. So the next 8 resolutions from page 5 through 12 are all decreases to capital projects for various federal aid projects. These are all projects that are complete. A couple of them we want to hold these open so we can get final closeout from DOT. However, we can move the money out. The work is complete on these. And for each of these requests, these 8 requests, the funding will come out of the capital project and it'll go back to the funding source, which is, we have 2 different codes we use. Transfers to capital projects for road projects, which is D9950, and then we have another one for general fund projects, which is A9950.
Would someone like to move?
Make a motion from 5 to 12.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Supervisor Frazier. Any questions?
Jeff, remember I've asked numerous times if we could just put the location of the capital project when you type this up next time.
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have on any of these right now, but I got you. It's just...
All I want is I've asked when the project, I mean, it's nice, maybe not everybody knows where Alderbrook Road Bridge is. If you can just put the location, Luzerne, Barn, or wherever it
Not
is.
Corinth.
You know what I mean?
Chestertown. Yeah.
Just add a line where the community that the project is located in, please.
Supervisor McDonald.
Chairman, just so I can kind of follow this a little bit better, the numbers that are associated here, is this the total amount of monies being moved, or is this the total number for the project as a whole, and then there's a smaller denomination left over moving? Does that make sense?
This is the total amount to be moved, but some of these dollar amounts represent federal and state share. For instance, when we establish a capital project, it's 80% federal, 15% state, and 5% local. We'll account for that 80% federal monies, and then if the project comes in under bid or under budget, then we actually are reducing the federal share too, but there's not necessarily real money there. It's just we're reducing the federal share.
He has the amount on the page. If you open up and list the amount on each, 10, 11, 12, tells which is federal, state, and
Right. And for each of these,
still don't know where they are.
well, thank you.
He just wants to make sure I don't get any more.
Okay, we voted on that. Oh, yeah. Getting lost here. Yes, Mr. McDonald.
Are there other projects that you've already identified for this section of this money?
Yes, and that's the second part of the agenda, yep.
See, this is why I just want to listen to that.
Okay, if we're ready for the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
And pages 13 and 14 are the 2 amend budgets to receive that money that was removed from those capital projects into 2 different codes. One's A9950, that can be used on any project, and then the D9950 is specific to road and bridge projects. So that is amending the budget to receive those back to the funding source.
Would someone like to move those? 13 and 14. Supervisor Frazier, seconded by Supervisor McDonald. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Okay, the next group of requests are for where some of these funds need to go for next year's projects. And, you know, in working through the budget team and the budget officer, we recognize that there's additional funds needed in 2018, but by moving these now, we were able to not have to reappropriate additional funds in the 2018 budget. So these numbers are, if we move these now, we're funded through next year on what we think we need for local match. On items 15 through 19 are, one is to increase an existing capital project, and then the other four, items 16 through 19, are to establish capital projects for associated grants that we'll be receiving next year.
Okay, would someone like to move those? Supervisor Frazier, seconded. Supervisor McDonald. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
I did put some locations on those new projects, not on the prior projects, but...
Yes. Right, good too.
The next two items are on page 20 and 21. These are to use some of those same funds out of our transfers to capital projects. Again, as part of the budget process, rather than appropriate new county monies for a couple of road projects going into next year, we identified that this money was available. So what we're recommending is that those additional funds be moved into these two projects. The Main Street Johnsburg project is actually one that will be going to bid in the spring, and we think based on our current estimates that we need to increase that project a little bit. And then the other one is just another 2018 road project for Screw River Road.
Moved by Supervisor McDonald, seconded by Supervisor Molino. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Okay, the last action item is on page 22. This is several pages of transfers. These are our typical transfers as we complete road projects and need to move salaries and various projects, expenses, salaries and benefits for projects we did in-house.
Okay, would somebody like to move that? Supervisor McDonald, seconded by Supervisor Frazier. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, carried.
Okay, the last item I have, I just have a few photos to send around. We've got some recent county paving from this season, Friends Lake Road in town of Chester, Olmstedville Road in town of Chester, and then two different segments of Screw River Road, one segment in Warrensburg, one segment in town of Chester. And then another photo here is the recent stormwater project we did. We coordinated with Lake Shores Association and also Warren County Soil and Water, and did some stormwater infiltration up in the town of Bolton on Highland Drive, which empties onto one of our roads. So that's a project that we just completed here under this season. And then the last items, I've attached the overtime report and the fuel report.
I assume the starred amount is for Blue Fest. It didn't say it says 533.4.
Yeah, it got cut off in the spreadsheet, must be, it's for Balloon Fest.
How long was that road in Warrensburg?
I don't know.
Less than a quarter of a mile.
Just checking.
But Matt drives it every day, so he has to get it fixed.
That's right. That's right.
You're not going to get one over on County.
Make sure we don't get our fair share, right?
Okay. Is there any questions, comments from the committee? Now from anybody else out there? Tom? Mr. Randall? Okay.
Just gotta get a little more humor in these meetings.
Mr. Swan? Okay, motion adjourned. Supervisor McDonald, now everybody gets their hands up. Supervisor Frazier, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.